I'm just listening, and one guy's like, you know what? Let me tell you. I was at this place. I paid $400 for chicken wings. And he's like,
You said $400 for chicken wings?
$400. And he was like, you paid $400 for chicken wings? That's what he sounded like. And I'm like, let me tell you, these chicken wings, they take these chicken wings, they dip them in gold. Are we actually recording already?
Now we're recording.
Oh,
we may have to change batteries in a little bit.
Oh, this is the least shocking thing I've heard all fucking day.
Get ready.
I know that we're recording a podcast, and I'm not completely sure about what.
No. So, to give people a little bit of context, we came into this episode expecting to have a guest
Right.
for reasons that were outside of that person's control.
Sure.
You know,
Sweet person. Wait, you know?
I've never met him.
Oh,
Seems like a cool dude.
He's the fucking best.
He said it was an honor to have been invited.
That's a stretch.
I mean, I felt more honored to have him on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
And
a
I don't
hard,
even know him.
yeah, hard stretch
Yeah.
that anyone would be honored to be on this fucking shit show. But we're here now.
Yeah, but we're here now with no plan whatsoever.
Zero fucking plan.
Yeah. So, I think
Okay, I love it.
I'm just going to shoot from the hip here.
Shocker.
Just because I'm thinking, like, what have we talked about recently? By the way, you're listening to Pancon Podcast. I'm here with Michael Beltran. I am Nick Jiménez.
Right.
This is the podcast that we do.
Podcast for the people.
The podcast for the people, as
Podcast for the
everyone calls it. Shout out to Monopolio for these beers. What is that? What does that shit say?
I don't know.
What is that? Hold on. I gotta check. What that says.
Fuck me. God damn it. We can never do this like normal. It's absolute fucking poop show.
The thing that I was going to come out with, just because we had discussed it somewhat recently,
Okay.
I ate at Chug's. I didn't eat this, but I did want to discuss it further.
Sure.
Chug's, for those who are uninitiated, is Michael Beltran's
Cuban-American diner. Wow, we did that together, huh?
Yeah.
Super cute.
This is the cutest thing that's ever happened.
Man.
So, you recently posted a picture of a masita salad.
Oh, yeah.
So, it was striking to me.
Hey, you're good. Yeah, come through. Yeah, fuck us.
Oh, yeah. None of this matters.
None of it matters.
This is...
I was worried about the dog.
No, yeah, I know. Fuck me, right?
Yeah.
The dog is really what matters. I mean, it's Petey's show.
Isn't it?
It is.
So...
You want to ask me about like the masita salad?
So my overweightness relates to the masita. I saw the masita salad and I thought, listen, it's not like there are diet plans built around masita puerco or pork belly, but this it felt like, as I told you, it filled a little bit of a void.
Yeah,
Chug
when you said that, it was kind of interesting to me. Like, I don't know what you mean by that.
What I meant by that was that I think that there are not too many places that I personally can go on the Chug's menu for like straight protein and vegetable.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think now we're at like the 3.5 month mark. So it's time to start revisiting the menu and like see what works, what doesn't work, what should evolve, what are we missing, what did we miss the mark on? And like overall, like are we having enough fun with it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in some places we're not having enough fun with it. I think a lot of it's kind of like structured and I wouldn't say like boring. Tom!
Oh, baby.
Yeah! Tom!
Gotta have hydration.
Oh yeah, thanks Tom. You're the fucking man. What would I do without you? We're not sponsored by them, so we gotta kick them out.
Yeah, thanks.
Get him another. I don't know what it is, but get him another.
Whatever the cheapest brown thing is.
Yeah, put it in a red Solo cup.
Yeah, please.
So I think it's time to really like revisit the menu a little bit.
Okay.
It's interesting because I worked on the menu for like almost 2 years, and we're 4 months in. It's like, all right, let's trash it and let's start from scratch.
Well, you had almost from the beginning, though, been talking about how you wanted to commit to it for roughly a quarter, right?
Yeah.
So you're about there or past there.
Yeah, and I think like really Chug's biggest struggle, and we've known it since the beginning, was going to be dinner. Like people go for breakfast and lunch because that's what it was before. A lot of people don't know that it's open for dinner.
Yeah.
So, I have some plans to address that overall as a company, but I think starting with the food is like number one. So anyone who's from South Florida, I think, is pretty familiar with Yakusan.
Great.
And Yakusan does like a crispy pork salad. They do a crispy fish salad too. And this is kind of like the least Cuban thing on the menu, I would say. I mean, other than the like meatloaf and like the pancake, which aren't very Cuban either. This is like an homage to that fucking crispy pork salad. It's got like a fish sauce mojo, red onions, tomatoes, frizz, bunch of herbs, lots of acid. It's delicious, super easy. I don't know, and I think we're going to start exploring other things like, will a tuna melt sell? Should we have a tuna melt? We've already like gotten rid of a couple things. It's like people are kind of like pining for the old medianoche, which is shocker because when it was on the menu, not a lot of people ordered it. So the fact that I hear a lot of like, where's the medianoche? Where's the medianoche? I'm like, I don't know. That's fucking weird because when we had it, like maybe we sold just a couple day.
Yeah.
So, but it's just revisiting and it's like refreshing and it's like, where can we be better and where can we improve? And like, I don't know, for me too, I want the chefs there to have a good time and have fun with it. The ones that actually give a fuck, which I would say the majority of them there do. And, how can we just continue to be an interesting, fun place to eat?
I wonder whether, do you think that and I'm not saying this because it's called a medianoche, but do you think that people asking about the medianoche is related to it being more of a dinner spot now? Like maybe people, for whatever reason, want medianoches later in the day?
I don't know. I mean, are you a medianoche eater?
I can't remember the last time I had one.
Yeah, I would say that it's my favorite sandwich. I never order it because it's super indulgent and it's like super rich, but it's my favorite sandwich and I'll eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah. Why don't you tell people what a medianoche is for those
in
Salina, Kansas?
It's really just a Cuban sandwich, but with different bread.
Right.
Essentially, it's just like that really sweet, buttery potato bread, but it's, we cook it in that like loaf form. But the makeup of it is ham, roast pork, Swiss, pickles, mustard. If you want to get sassy, put a little mayo in there.
If you want to get sassy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really just a Cuban sandwich with different bread.
Yeah.
I think it's superior than a Cuban sandwich. But like,
I'm not a Cuban sandwich person, period.
Me neither.
Or a medianoche. I mean, I'm not a pickle and mustard person. That's my issue.
Whoa. You're not a pickle person?
No, not at all.
Really?
Don't like pickles. I'll eat them if I'm trying to be polite to somebody.
Uh-huh.
But I'll never opt for pickles. Or like if somebody tells me in the lead up to my ordering a thing, the pickles are really important to how I see this sandwich, I'll leave them on there just to experience it the way they wanted it the first time. But I've never enjoyed a pickle.
Man. And I love pickles.
Yeah. Well,
Big fan. All kinds of pickles.
Yeah, Well, I mean, there's other things I do like that you don't like.
Like what?
I prefer for my lettuce not to be shredded.
In a burger?
On any sandwich.
But why?
It's a texture thing. I like the, one big solid crunch. Now, if it's like shitty wilted lettuce, yeah, I'll take like nice shredded lettuce over. But I think it's tough to beat the impact and even the sound of that center or whatever of a nice thick piece of lettuce, whether it's a burger or
I just think it looks sloppy.
Maybe, but I mean, unless how many burgers look really fucking?
The Chug burger looks put together.
Yeah, I guess, but
I've been dealing with a solid amount of stress lately. My anxiety's pretty high.
What's lately last couple days, last couple weeks?
Last couple weeks, but a lot of it has to do with the burger.
With that burger?
Yeah, in general, because what I find very interesting, and it goes for a couple of different menu items. Ariete obviously has the Chug burger. Chug's has the Chug burger. Ariete has our fries. Chug's has different fries. Nave has the original Chug burger fries as a side of fries. The Nave fries do not taste the same out of Ariete's fries and Nave's fries taste different, but they are the same fry. We make the fry. The same people make both fries. And for some reason, they do not taste the same in both locations.
Okay.
Then, the Chug burger, it's all the same makeup, all the same things, all the same stuff, and I do not think that they taste the same in both locations.
And you haven't been able to figure out why.
The fries are like a weird scientific mystery that I have no idea. You're literally talking about like 50 feet apart of kitchens. Same fry oil, same model fryer, same temperature, same everything. But they're both very different.
Have you tried... Just going to throw this out there.
Okay.
Take the fries from the one place and then eat them at the other place.
No. That would be weird, but I would try it. I don't think that's it.
I would be shocked if that were it.
No, it's definitely not it.
But or maybe have somebody like, throw me off. Don't tell me this is happening.
Sure.
Did you just fart or something?
No. I'm sorry. I'm tired. My bad. It's really weird. Like the ones at Ariete are like crispy, creamy, like perfect, and they keep the structure.
Yeah.
Nave, they're like not.
That is weird.
Super. And then, like the Chug Burger stuff, it's all the same. Everything's the same. The pickles, the same person makes both pickles. Sauce, same person makes both sauces. The burger literally gets made right before service for Chugs and then gets shipped over to Chugs, which is only a block and a half away, and I just don't find them to be the same burger.
Yeah.
And it's really like racking my I cannot for the life of me, like it's kept me up.
I think it would be interesting to take all the items, like 3 burgers.
Sure.
Or however many burgers we're talking about.
It's just 2, but yeah.
2 and 2 sets of fries. Mix them up and see if you can. You probably would be able, but maybe the differences won't be so stark. I'm basing this on like conversations with people who I hear it and it sounds like quack science.
Sure.
But people who insist that shit like the lighting in the room, like they'll feed people like, okay, this is the exact same shit and we're treating it like a tasting and we don't reveal until the end that they've been eating the same shit throughout, but that they thought this apple or this cheese tasted more this way or that way. And I wonder whether it's possible there's some of that to it. Because I have to think if the room has any kind of an impact, eating something at Ariete and eating something at Nave or eating something at Chug's,
it's all different.
It's all very different.
No, but the fry is like it's just a weird, the end result is different.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you for the life of me why.
Yeah.
At the Chug Burger in both locations, I don't think it's that. I think it may be surroundings. I think it may be like concern because, like we've been cooking Chug Burgers at Ariete for 6 years. We've been cooking Chug Burgers at Chug's for 3 months.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that, but it's weird.
Yeah. And everybody feels the same way about the difference?
No.
Okay. That's interesting.
Not everyone. I do get some of it. Oh, the Chug Burger at Ariete's way better.
I mean your staff, though.
No. No, this is like humans. My staff are humans, but I'm talking about like guests.
Yeah. But have you asked other chefs on the team, hey, do you taste the difference?
No, that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like Phil, one of my corporate chefs, he's tried both, and he feels like there's not that much of a difference.
Okay.
He says that there used to be a difference, but the way that we're doing the bread now, there's not.
So he doesn't quite agree with you.
No.
This makes me more interested in the result of doing this blind, like both burgers in the same
But it'll be
spot.
hard. They're 2 blocks away from each other. How do you do that simultaneously?
Time it. Eat them both a little cold. Have them made at the same time, but presented to you at the same time also.
So that's been one of my stresses.
Okay.
As of late. It's been very... like, that one's, like, kept me up at night. Like, I've woken up at, like, 2:30 in the morning thinking about French fries. It's very strange.
There are worse things to think about at 2 in the morning.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the second is I leave on Tuesday. I'm doing a dinner at Bresca in D.C.
Right.
It's going to be a good time. Chef Ashley and myself are going to D.C., and we're going to be doing a dinner with Ryan Rotino and his team.
Yep.
That's stressful. It's the first time I've cooked in, like, a Michelin-starred house.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be fun. I think the food is all, like, stuff that we've done before, and it's all super solid and all very delicious. It's just cooking for a different clientele. It's like...
What's your relationship with Ryan?
We met randomly because I started doing a duck press and he did a duck press, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to meet you, and we started chatting or whatever, and I went to Bresca, I had their duck, and then we hung out all night and we got super shitty drinking. It was a great time, and we've been homies ever since.
Yeah, I was just chuckling to myself because I, in that moment, thought of the term Preskimo brothers.
Okay.
You familiar with Eskimo brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, now you're Duck Preskimo brothers.
That is just so bad. I would prefer you never repeat that again.
No, I'm going to use it a lot.
Oh, no. That's... So, Moving on. We just lost a sponsorship from that, probably. So,
Brought to you by Quasi.
Something about impact windows, too, no?
Impact windows.
Yeah. That one definitely had impact, that's for sure. And another very exciting but also stressful thing is that we got a new coffee machine at Chug's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been it hasn't been rolled out yet, but coffee has been, I think, our biggest downfall. My biggest failure there as an operator was not being able to handle the volume of coffee that we've done. Like when you go to a coffee shop, like there's a small line, you get your coffee, you do your thing. But like imagine you add that line of coffee and it's like 10 or 12 people deep, and then you add a full dining room of 150 people and half of them ordering coffee at the same time.
Yeah.
Massive failure on my part. Massive. So I tried to quell the problem, and we spent a fuck ton of money for another machine, and now we're going to try to, hopefully fix the problem.
So I'm going to do a hard shift here because a topic occurred to me.
Sure.
And I think that you'll maybe have a little more fun with this. I'm going to change the batteries. And when we come back from this battery change, I got a question for you that I think will keep you going for a while.
Right after this commercial break, Nick's got a question for me.
Break.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Wow.
This episode of Pan Con Podcast is brought to you by The Barrel. This is the barbecue grill that, if you're watching this in video form, is in front of us. We're here with Chef Danny Boza. Danny, tell us a little bit about what the genesis of this thing was. Where does The Barrel come from?
I was a chef. I was working for a civil engineering firm before that, and I really hated everything that I was doing at the time. So I've always had a passion for cooking. And then, I decided one day to move to New York, and everything took off from New York, Chicago, Hong Kong, LA, Colorado, and then to Hawaii, and then back to Miami. And then I opened up my own spot in Coral Gables, sold the restaurant, and moved on to the next bigger, better thing. Obviously, COVID hit, so we had our own passion project. It started because a friend, was now a business partner, Diego Londoño, approached me to do a menu for his coffee shop. And I said, let's go to Colombia. I got to see the tree. I got to, feel it out, get a little inspiration. So I went out there, and then, I tried some of the food when I got there, and I was blown away by the flavor. I found out they were actually cooking with the actual coffee tree. And then I saw their South American style roaster, and it was just really dinged up, beat up oil drum. Yeah. And I said, you know what? I can make something that's really cool. So myself and Diego put our heads together, and it's a home run in my opinion. It's very sleek, very beautiful to look at. It's very, very cool.
It's a conversation starter. People see that in your yard and they want to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely people see it. And again, we're not trying to take over anybody's yard. We're trying to making a compliment to it. So what you would do on your regular grill for something very quick, you might want to say on a weekend I got more time and I want to chill out and, use the barrel and create some beautiful flavors out of that with our hardwood lump charcoal.
Do you remember what some of the first things you did with it when you were maybe like prototyping it, or you had it close to final form?
Yeah, actually, I'll keep it short. So one of the main things is that our base was simply just the base. It was just a very plain base, and in order to stop all the fat that was dripping and rendering, I would use sand around the side. But of course, even some of the best chefs in the world make some of the greatest mistakes. So I would drop some of the food directly on the sand, and there's no getting sand off food once it hits it. So we had to think of a different system. So now we created these 2 half-moon systems at the base in which you can add liquid and have a grate on top which pretty much sets this apart from any other, grill, roaster, smoker, which, the 3-in-1 combo is not really commonly found out there.
Very cool. So if people want to learn more, if people want to buy this thing, how do they get more information about the barrel?
I would say go to our Instagram page, at Barrel the BBQ. And, you can go and see our link tree there, which has our YouTube channel, our order page, our information, our specs about the barrel. And it has a bunch of fun videos and very cool things that we've cooked out of it so far.
Very cool. And once you're there, if you use promo code PANCON10, that's PANCON10, PANCON, because I know a lot of people have trouble with this. We don't speak Spanish. We've been called Pumpkin Podcast, the Panko Podcast. This is PANCON10 for $100 off of the barrel. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
This episode of Pancon Podcast is also brought to you by Elite Impact Windows. Elite Impact Windows does exactly what it sounds like they do. They are purveyors of impact windows. That's the kind that, especially if you're in a hurricane-prone sort of area, you want so stuff doesn't come flying through your windows. Mike, you have impact windows on some of your restaurants.
Listen, I heard a rumor. Tell me if this is true. Are all their products tested to go up to 185 mile per hour wind pressures?
That is how their products are tested. That's all their products are tested to meet that. I don't know. I've never been out in 185 mile an hour wind. But if I were, I think I might want to wear some of these windows as like a suit.
I feel safer already just thinking about if I was walking around in that kind of wind and I was wrapped around with their just windows just wrapped around me, I'd feel like a much safer person.
Yeah, you should put them on your caddy.
Maybe not. But I also heard that they meet all the requirements of Miami-Dade County.
They do meet all the requirements of Miami-Dade County.
Fuck me, that's amazing.
EliteImpactGlass.com or on Facebook, Elite Impact Windows, Instagram, Elite Impact Glass. They are proud partners with Eco Windows, CGI, and Windoor.
One of the things I really appreciate about them and their company is that all their products are made locally here in South Florida, and fuck me, that's amazing.
Look at this. They are all made here in South Florida.
Did you do your research?
Man, I did not do the research.
Somebody didn't show up ready.
They have competitive pricing with totally 0% financing available. I mean, I don't know if you have credit like mine, you might not get 0% financing, but it may be an option. It's possible that that's an option for you. 0% financing. I don't know exactly how that works. Whatever the case, if you go on the website, you ask for a quote, and you mention Pancon Podcast, you will get 10% off of your installation.
And I don't know if you guys have ever installed Windows before, but 10% off of window installation, that's a good fucking deal. And you know what? You got it here first on Pancon Podcast.
That's right. Mention Pancon Podcast. Again, it's EliteImpactGlass.com or Elite Impact Windows on Facebook, Elite Impact Glass on Instagram. By the way, you mentioned restaurants. They do commercial properties. So whether it's for your home or your business, if you need Elite Impact Glass to put, all that and do the things that they do so well, you wanna get in on that.
Also, this company, very woke. Very woke. They also offer solar power systems with backup batteries and custom generators for your home. You know why? Because they're woke.
I don't know if that's a positive thing these days to be woke, but but it's nice. I mean,
sounds good.
It sounds good to me that there's solar power involved.
I'm into it.
Generators, solar power, impact glass. If you go to their website, they got a video that shows off like a home that has all of that stuff going on at one time, which is pretty wild.
That's pretty wild.
A lot of panels, a lot of glass, a lot of things. Pretty soon, we are going to get our hands on at least one pane of impact glass.
I'm ready.
And we're going to try to break it.
I'm ready.
I don't know what the procedure will be, but Mike's breath will have a blast of freshness from that Banaka you just heard. I like this for the podcast, 'cause you can really
Banaka
hear it.
blast at last. Fast blast Banaka.
I just want everybody to know, and apologies to Elite Impact Glass, because this I don't want this to sound like an ad for Banaka, but in the time that we've been sitting here to record this ad, Mike has blasted himself with Banaka like 5 times.
Twice. Get
I
excited
don't
out.
know, man.
Twice.
I don't know.
Come on. Twice.
Elite Impact Glass. Thanks to our sponsor.
Thanks.
Go get your windows from.
Go get those windows.
We're gonna do a thing that we haven't done in quite some time. For a while, we've gone a long stretch.
Have we?
Just doing talk about food and restaurants and the food and restaurant business and whatever thing was relevant to whatever guest we had in the moment.
Sure. I'm super jet. Where are you going, man? Come on.
Tell me all the things you want to tell the world about Mario Cristobal.
Oh man. Woo!
Let everybody know what's on your mind with this the shift in University of Miami football head coaches. From Manny Diaz to Mario Cristobal.
Where do I even fucking start? We haven't talked sports in such
That's
a
what
long
I'm saying.
time.
It's been a while.
There's actually sports news is super loaded right now.
There's a lot of things
The
happening.
Dolphins are on a 5-game win streak, which I still don't believe them.
Right.
You know,
it might be a lie.
yeah,
it might
it's
be an
still a
elaborate
lie.
hoax.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Finally made a good decision, which they haven't made, in so long.
Did you feel at the time of the Manny Diaz decision that was bad?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I don't follow it closely enough to have had an
Well,
opinion.
you know, like, I think, and listen, Manny's a nice guy, but I think they made a cheap choice. He was cheaper. You know, Mario has wanted to come back here for so long, for at least a decade. Like, I don't think he would have ever taken the Oregon job. And, you know, this is not just me being a homer, you know, because obviously he went to Columbus, and I'm super supportive of that. He went to UM, and obviously I love that too. He coached at Alabama. He went to FIU, and then, like, it was one of the only times that program actually fucking mattered. And then, you know, he went to Oregon, and he fucking crushed it. And everyone can say whatever they want about their fucking, whatever they're in the Pac-12 or whatever, and that they're soft and they're not very good. But I don't give a fuck. He won every single year he was here. He won. And then, on top of that, Alex Mirabal was his fucking O-line coach, and he was like his assistant head coach, and that guy's incredible. He just knows how to fucking recruit, and that's what Miami really needed.
Right.
Because there's so much talent in South Florida. So much. Look around the NFL. Look around. Right. I would say that the NFL is like 30% from South Florida. It's nuts. The entire Ravens team is from like South Florida. It's nuts. It's crazy. And he understands that. He is as Miami as it gets. And people said that about Manny, but Manny was just trying so hard. He was trying so hard to have this like swag. He hit the otro. It was like whatever. It was dumb. Like Mario is just that guy.
Yeah.
He's very like point blank, black and white. Like, you know, you have to have certain attributes to play for him. You have to have certain knowledge to play for him. And you have to fucking work hard. It doesn't matter how good you think you are. You need to prove it. And I've been saying it for a decade. I swear it's a decade. Fucking Mark Richt, he was great. But he was on the tail end of his career. That's why he retired. Mark Richt was great. Al Golden was a fucking disaster. That guy was a fucking, like, who the fuck hires a coach out of Temple? What the? Temple has football? Like, it's shocking. Temple. We hired a coach out of Temple because he had like 2 good years. It's nuts. And then you have this guy coaching at Alabama, crushed it there. They didn't want him to leave. I don't know. They finally made a good move. Finally. What happens next? Totally up to them.
Right.
You know, you don't know. It obviously college sports is very difficult. You're coaching kids at the end of the day, which I think everybody that's like a grown up needs to realize that these humans are children.
Every kid is a wild card.
But they're children.
Right.
Like, these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old. They're kids. Like, you know, they're a lot of these, like, older dudes, I would say, they talk shit about these kids. They're fucking 19.
Well, not only that, but I mean, you have more of a view into this than I do, certainly, having played college football. But I don't really have much of a sense for, like, I get what you mean when you say they're children, but legally and by a lot of people's standards, they're adults now, but they're very new adults. They're new at being adults. I don't know what impact the all-consuming aspect of being on a UM football team, because that takes over your fucking life.
For sure.
I don't know what impact. Yeah, I don't know what
played
impact
Division
that has.
3 sports.
Right.
Division 3 sports,
Right.
which was like the lowest of the low in the NCAA.
And that's what I'm saying. You have more of a view into it than I do, because I didn't play any sport in college.
And it was, even in Division 3, it was a full-time job.
So, like, what impact do you think that has on your maturation? Like,
I mean,
as opposed to like a college kid who maybe is like going to school and then working a job and like having something closer to like.
I think that there's different variations of kids, right? Like, you know, the kids that dedicate themselves to school and they're like very studious in like their career and where they want to go. I think that's one type. And I think you have like the regular, like, kind of like freshman 15 kind of kid that goes and they drink too much and, you know, they party too hard and whatever, and it takes them a little longer to like find their path. When you play sports, if you like, some of these kids, they go into college thinking that they're going to play in the pros.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have the opportunity to do that after 2 years of being in college.
Especially at a program like UM's.
Right. But any big program, right, you can make it. Even smaller programs now, if you stand out, there's so much film and so much like science, technology behind things that they'll find you if you're good.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I find it very interesting. And the reason why I say that they're kids, right, is because, like, when you look at a pro athlete that's like 28 years old, that's made millions of dollars in his career, and if you want to sit there and bitch and moan about their performance, they're getting paid to do that.
Right.
These kids are getting a free ride to college.
Yeah.
That's really where we're at. They're getting a free ride to college, and they have the opportunity to play a sport that is a child's game that they should love, and they may have an opportunity to make it to the next level from that. So this is why it always bothers me so much when people are just like, oh, that kid sucks. I'm like, fuck you. Did you ever play a fucking sport in your life? No. So shut the fuck up. You know, the kid he's just a kid.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. And sometimes these kids are like, you know, they're fucking grown-ups at 19 years old. Like, it just happens. But I don't know. I find it very interesting. And I think a lot of that, the people who tell me that coaching doesn't matter, they really don't understand sports, I don't think. Because
especially at that level.
I think it's several levels, though. Like in high school.
Well, I mean as opposed to the pros. Because I think in the pros, you have some people who are such veterans that they almost play that role in the locker room.
Yeah.
But when your whole team has an age range of about 3 or 4 years, you need that coach to play that role. There is no veteran college football player. There's no veteran high school football player that everybody else can look up to because they've been around forever, because it doesn't exist. So coaching matters, I think, more under the pros.
I think that statement would be absolutely correct until you watched this past Monday's football game and Bill Belichick won the game 14-11, and he only threw the ball 3 times.
100%. I'm not saying it can't matter in the pros. I'm
No,
saying
I know.
in the pros, it's possible to have bad
Sure.
coaching, but somebody who makes up for it
Sure.
on the roster.
I know. I like that game. I found fascinating because the world is so engulfed in like offense, like points. Score as many points as you can. Defense doesn't matter. Running the ball doesn't matter. And then this guy, he literally threw the ball 3 times and he won the fucking game. It was wild to me, and I hate the fucking Patriots. I fucking can't stand them. Anyone out there, and I doubt that you would listen to this fucking show, but if you're from New England, I don't fucking like you. If you like the Patriots, I don't fucking like you. And I don't want to be your friend, and I don't want to talk to you about sports. I don't like you. And I get it. Listen, that's cool. You guys are great. You have one of the best coaches of all time. Doesn't change the fact, don't fucking like you. That's it. I don't like him, and I don't like them. But, man, it's hard not to respect that. It's the same thing. It was like Brady leaves there, and he wins the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to like, well, he's only good because of Bill Belichick. That's absolutely fucking wrong. He's got better stats at fucking 42 than he did when he was fucking 32. It's just, sports is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it lends itself so much to like regular life, like day-to-day life, like how you structure yourself, how you get yourself up for whatever, how you, I don't know, how you approach problems. It's so much. Back to the first question. Mario Cristobal was a great hire. I'm super supportive of this. I had a conversation with Brett Romberg today, a former Pancom podcast guest, about Mario, and Joaquin Gonzalez the other day about hiring Mario. And it's like, he just seems like what the program needs. Which is like, the program has been like, is the U back? How about we just start fresh? How about we just start new?
Right.
How about we just be ourselves?
Right.
Because we're never going to get back to what we were in the 80s. We're never going to get back to what we were in the early 2000s. We got to start something new.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that. And I think that that's really the route to go. So I have great feelings. I'm super excited. It's the first time I've actually had hope for that team since, a long time. Because, like, Larry Coker I didn't like. Al Golden I didn't like. Mark Richt I liked, but I knew he was, like, old.
Yeah.
Manny Diaz I did not like at all. I liked him as a human. I didn't like him as a choice for a coach. Because when they hired Manny, I was like, they should hire Mario. And here we are.
Here we are.
I don't know if we mentioned it, but he is an alumni of Christopher Columbus High School.
You did.
Yeah, okay. Just make sure.
Yeah, you want to throw an Adelante in there? Just get out of your system.
Hashtag Adelante. And then equally, the Dolphins are on a 5-game win streak.
Right,
They start
they
start 1-7. It's fucking tragedy. Everyone hates Tua, and I'm like, I still believe in this kid.
Yeah.
I'm super for him, and the guy's crushing it,
Coming through.
annihilating it. And it's just sports. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we'll ever win a Super Bowl while I'm alive, but it would be
You
great.
got a lot of being alive left.
That's a hope. We can always hope that.
Sure.
What I'm saying, though, is last time we were in the Super Bowl was the year before I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah.
But, I mean, how long can that streak go?
I don't know. I mean, it can go pretty long.
It's true.
It can go pretty long.
It's true. Yeah, what's the Cubs was like a century practically?
It was century.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, you don't watch any boxing?
A little bit. I end up watching more highlights or like if I very rarely pay for boxing. So if I hear something was worth watching, maybe I'll go back and watch it. But I just don't follow it closely enough to feel invested in like anything but title fights.
Right. The biggest problem with boxing is there's too many productions and too many titles. Like too many different.
It's part of why I'm not a huge college football fan.
Huge. You're
or
not
college
a huge
fan.
Well, college?
It's not because there's so many titles, but because there's just so many teams and so much to follow.
Sure.
That it just feels kind of exhausting to keep up.
Sure. There's like some ridiculous stat, like there's like 70,000 high school football teams in the United States. There's only 256 that play college football. It's just a nice stat that you actually, it doesn't matter what division you're in, you're like, yeah, I was part of that 256. That's
Right.
what I told myself for
There you
4
go.
years.
256.
Yeah, I'll take
That
it.
can be your next tattoo. 256.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know. I think that just going back to sports, I think boxing is living like a very nice renaissance right now. I think we're seeing
I see
something.
that.
I think we're seeing something very interesting happen.
Yep.
Like guys are taking fights which they wouldn't previously take, and they're losing those fights. Teofimo losing to Kambosa was like big. Like there was no upset this weekend, but there sure shit could have been. One of them went to a decision, which it's tough. That one going to decision was tough. Like the Wilder Fury fight, that was a great fucking fight.
Yeah.
Usyk taking down fucking Joshua, that was a great fucking fight too. I think that we're seeing a renaissance in boxing because people are starting to realize like it's okay if you have a loss.
Yeah.
It's okay if you have a loss. Not everyone could be Mayweather, right? Like that actually doesn't exist. And I think that the like Instagram boxers, like everyone says that Ryan Garcia is one of them. We'll find out. Like Ryan fought Luke Campbell, which Luke Campbell's like an actual Olympic medalist boxer. Like he's a structured, he knows what he's doing boxer.
Yeah.
He beat him. He put Ryan down. But
yeah, I saw the highlights from that fight.
Right. So I think we're going to see an interesting resurgence, and I think it all depends. It always depends on, which isn't always the best fight, but it's always the fight that matters. Is like, well, how does the heavyweight division do? Right? Because if you look at boxing in its heyday, it was like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Vander Holyfield, like those things. Like they always take like front stage.
Yeah.
But like the best boxers are the smaller ones.
Yeah.
The Marvin Haglers, now you have Terrence Crawford, Teofimo, the Lomas, the Triple Gs. Like
I think heavyweight fights are interesting to people who never watch boxing.
Because it's a cool title. It's a heavyweight title.
Well, not just because it's a cool title, but because it's power. It's easier to wrap your head around.
Sure.
When you're watching lighter weight classes, there's more nuance. There's a lot of subtle movement. Not that no heavyweights do that, but you can get farther just on knockout power.
I would say that you have two heavyweights right now that really they fight a smaller fight, which is Usyk and Fury.
Oh,
Fury's
100%.
a big motherfucker, and he fights small.
Yeah.
He'll knock you the fuck out, but
yeah,
the way he feints, the way he moves, the way he's not scared to move around you and like actually shift and move. Like it's not super common for heavyweights, but Usyk he was a cruiserweight. Pretty sure that's what that was. It's right under heavyweight, and then he went up to heavyweight. Is it cruiserweight?
I'm not.
I don't really remember
Is
off the
there a
top.
light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight,
But
cruiserweight.
Is cruiser between the two? Or
I don't know.
cruiser under light
I
heavyweight?
don't really know. I sound like an idiot, but I don't know.
Whatever.
But
Part of why it's so confusing. 'Cause
well,
in boxing, there's like a weight class every 3 or 4 pounds.
but it's the same thing with MMA.
I think there's fewer. There's a bigger leap between weight classes. There's no cruiserweight in MMA, and the numbers are so like.
I would much rather watch a heavyweight boxing match than a heavyweight MMA match.
Yeah, and I get it. That's not how I feel about it, but I get it.
Why don't you feel that way?
Well, for one thing, because I was never sucked into boxing, and I've been watching MMA for long enough now that I feel like I understand it a little better. Not that I've ever done it or understand it on that level, but
Sure.
in terms of like when I'm watching it, I get it a little more, like all the little shit that's happening. But part of why I find it compelling is because I find it interesting how much closer it is to like a real world scenario, in the sense that it comes closer to simulating just two people fighting. Like, I don't like this verbiage, but what a lot of MMA people will say, and I kind of get the point they're making, is that boxing is boxing and MMA is fighting. And if you're generous with it, like, you can kind of get it. Because in a fight, nobody stops and says, like, these are the rules. Nobody's taking anybody down. But that's not to denigrate boxing. It's just boxing is boxing the way wrestling is wrestling. And I'm talking about like Greco-Roman or freestyle, not like wrestling.
Greco-Roman wrestling is crazy.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
Have you ever wrestled?
I never have. No.
Oh, it is
But
the
my point is,
hardest sport of all time
it's
that
hard
I've
as
ever
fuck.
done.
And wrestlers are very often the ones who are the most successful when they transition to MMA.
Sure, it makes sense.
And some of that is that training and that mentality that you develop from just how fucking tough it is.
Sure.
But my point is, to say wrestling is wrestling and MMA is fighting is not to denigrate wrestling. It's just to say it's a narrower thing. And I find, the thing, and the variety of matchups, like that idea of like styles make matchups, because MMA is what it is. There's so many more scenarios you can put together.
You know what? The only thing, and I'm not a big MMA fan, and I
Sure.
I don't discredit the sport. I think it's tough as nails. It just doesn't intrigue me as much.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about it is that there's several forms of fighting underneath the MMA umbrella. Mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Right? It could be whatever.
And
It
you
could
can
be
be
wrestling,
super
it could be
well-rounded,
boxing,
you
it could
can
be
be a
jiu-jitsu.
specialist, yeah.
It could be like so many things. When you're a boxer, you're a boxer.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
like, there's a reason why Mayweather worked the fuck out of Conor McGregor. Because Mayweather is a boxer, and it was a boxing match.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and like, you're putting one of the best boxers of all time against someone that doesn't box.
Right. But you're kind of making the point that I was
Sure.
saying before.
And
Because if you put them both on the street, like if they just got into a tussle, now we're having a different conversation.
yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I can't totally agree, because I think that boxing prepares you for a lot of things that fighting may not prepare you for.
Sure.
You know,
But
like
the inverse is true. Also.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I wrestled
Yeah.
in high school, and now I've boxed as an adult, and you know, boxing is a huge part of my life now, but it's so much more than just like physical, and
Yeah.
you could say that about a lot of like fighting forms. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
I find it very interesting. Like the people who watch MMA like don't usually watch boxing, and the people who watch boxing don't usually watch MMA.
Yeah. I'll say I appreciate boxing. The main reason I don't follow boxing is because
It's so confusing.
the same reason I don't
100%.
follow NCAA like sports. Part of what I appreciate also with MMA and the UFC in particular is there are people setting rankings, but when there's a dispute, when there's a controversial ranking, the answer is put them together.
Sure.
Whereas in boxing, it's different hurdles, but in boxing and in NCAA sports, there's all this shit you have to get where those debates don't necessarily get settled. And MMA, the way that it just happens to be structured from a business standpoint and from like an organization standpoint, is satisfying that way, where the debate gets settled.
The reason why I can't say that the NCAA and boxing are the same is because the NCAA is a government. that controls
Right. No, they're not the same. Yeah.
all NCAA sports, right? So like there's a huge problem with like how people perceive the way the NCAA handles their athletes, right? Because they're essentially, this gets into a much deeper subject, but like they're essentially profiting a ton on people who don't make a ton of money. And that's why, even though I'm vocally against like paying student athletes, I understand where people are coming from, because there's a bunch of people making a fuck ton of money off of these kids, and there's no equal. Right. Boxing, the confusion behind it is promotions. There's so many different promotions. Like for people, like this is where I don't agree with a lot of other boxer people like me. Just like, oh, this guy is fighting for this fight. Like I don't care what title he's fighting for. I just want to watch a good fight.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like there's so many titles and so many like different. Now we're like Canelo. Obviously, he put them all together, which is a huge deal.
Right.
But it's like so many. He's got like 6.
Yeah,
it's like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Where in the UFC, it's not the same.
And what I mean when I say that there's a...
No, I get what you're saying.
Like in the NCAA, because there's so many programs, but the schedules are set from the very beginning. And especially in the case of football, where unlike basketball, where there's a tournament at the end of it to settle some of it.
There's now a small...
In NCAA football, like you have to sort of live with what these rankings people have decided.
Right.
And there isn't that opportunity the way there is in MMA. In MMA, if there's somebody who's the number 2 and the number 3 guy and somebody disagrees about who should be in which spot, the answer ends up being, oh, okay, then we'll put them in a cage together.
Yeah, I think now there's a small tournament when it comes to football.
Right.
Which is a step in the right direction.
Right.
Which they went the playoff route, which has been pretty uneven several times.
And like I don't care about college basketball until the tournament starts.
I'll tell you that college basketball is something that has been very hard for me to follow my entire life.
Yeah.
And I lived in Virginia, so imagine, like Duke was like...
Well, because small schools have so much more of a shot. Now it's like the pool is huge.
Yeah, 30 minutes away, Duke was there, and
Yeah, there was that stretch where like
North Carolina
St. John's or whatever was
right.
huge, and they're like a tiny little school.
Right. So it's just, it's so... There's a lot to it. I feel like boxing is living a small renaissance, and they could fuck this up. They could. Easily, the money people could fuck this up like very, very fast. I hope that they don't. But it's been nice to watch. Like, people are taking fights right now, which is good. They're taking fights and they're losing fights.
What would your feeling be on an organization popping up for boxing that's structured like UFC? Where they're
super for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're familiar with ONE.
No.
So ONE Championship is UFC's like Asian counterpart, and there are
really?
a lot of Americans and Europeans fight there too. I think they're based in Thailand, but they're like just as big on that side of the world.
No shit.
But one of the big differences is that on a ONE card, it's divided, so you'll have Muay Thai fights, boxing fights, MMA fights,
Oh, yeah?
and like you can watch fights for a long fucking time on a ONE card, and you see all these different styles culminating in the MMA stuff.
Right.
Which I think is kind of an interesting way to consume that, where you sort of take in all the ingredients and then find like this is what it looks like when you blend them all.
Interesting.
But even if you didn't have that in one promotion, if it was just boxing with a central organization that promoted it, I think I would watch more boxing that way. But there's so much money in boxing that I think it's tough.
It's crazy the amount of money.
It's tough to break the stranglehold there.
It's crazy the amount of money that's in boxing. It's crazy. It's like, it's nuts. Like, these guys are making hundreds of millions of dollars on one card.
Yeah.
And I get it why they don't want to lose a fight.
Right.
I get it. If they're making that kind of money because they're winning fights, why would you want to fucking lose one?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, it's in another world, and it's like, you think about like the early boxers, like the Muhammad Ali's to the Mike Tysons to the Lennox Lewis, like they made money, but not like this kind of money.
No. Yeah.
Definitely not like this kind of fucking money. And it's, does it sully the sport a little bit? Sure, for sure. I think money like will spoil anything when it comes to sports, because it's like gambling. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Cuba Decide is getting a little free ad space from us. This is us giving back to Cuba.
They're getting all the love they deserve.
That's right. So they gave us some talking points here. I'm going to read them, but we're going to do a little bit of riffing.
All right, yeah, cool. You read them, though.
Did you know, Michael, that the last free and fair elections in Cuba were held more than 70 years ago?
That's one of the least shocking statements I've ever heard.
Too many years.
Yeah.
Cuba wants to change. Cubans deserve to be free citizens with equal opportunities for all. Cuba Decide is a citizen initiative that is working toward a prosperous and happy Cuba, where all citizens are equal under the law and have equal access to opportunities for improvement, a democracy in which our right to choose and be chosen is respected. Mike, we had Rosa Maria Paya, founder of Cuba Decide, on the podcast. And it's a topic, obviously, that is important to the two of us, and you had a lot to say about how the being denied those rights all this time plays into your mission with Ariette and Chug. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we haven't, as I think a community, as a culture, as being Cubans and Cuban Americans, the fact that we haven't had an opportunity to grow, haven't had the opportunity to progress and to be really who we are, has really shaped a lot of what I decided to, like, my personal mission to be. And meeting people like Rosa Maria and like several others like her in this process have nothing but solidified that goal for me. And to know that, I think one thing, I think it also happens a lot in our age group, feeling like you're alone in that process, feeling like that you're the only one that kind of feels, I guess, a sense of being lost, because you don't really know where you came from, why you're here, all those things. But in reality, there's other people living the same kind of life, and not only living that life, fighting to change what history has just kind of made it to be so, right? Because it's like 70 plus years without free election. After a while, people just forget that there was ever a free election and that things should be a certain way. And there's other people fighting that fight to make sure that this doesn't stay that way.
Right. So like you said, there are people who are fighting to make sure that it doesn't stay that way. And that's one of the kind of, it's not a paradox, but one of the contradictions, right? That we've been shaped by this reality that none of us want to see continue. So Cuba Decide is a wide initiative that includes Cubans on the island and around the world, along with international friends who together work tirelessly to achieve a peaceful change. They fight for a democratic Cuba and are closer than ever to achieving that goal. So what's the strategy? It's the peaceful mobilization of Cubans and the international community, putting pressure so that the people can live in a democratic system and be free. You can follow Cuba Decide. That's Cuba Decide. It means Cuba decides in Spanish. Cuba Decide in all social media platforms at Cuba Decide. It's Cuba, D-E-C-I-D-E, Cuba Decide, Cuba Decide. To learn more or join Cuba Decide and donate at cubadecide.org/donations. The funds raised go to train promoters, recharge cell phones, meaning to keep cell phones active and connected to the internet, produce promotional materials on the island, generate international support, and much more. So go to cubadecide.org/donations. If you put Pan Con Podcast in the memo field in the donations, that will signal to them that money should go to keeping phones in Cuba connected to the internet.
Brought to you by Pig Ink Apparel. Pig Ink Apparel was started in 2012. 2012. Okay. That's an actual statement. It was started in 2012. I was sitting at a bar having a drink, and then I drew this like logo very poorly on a napkin, and I drew a name on a napkin. And the entire purpose of starting this apparel line was because when my family came here from Cuba, what sustained them financially was making clothes. Okay. So my grandmother, she's a G and like a super hustler, and she got on consignment like 1,000 yards of jean, and she made a deal with a friend. Her and my grandfather made a deal with a friend to like pay off the sewing machine, and then they put it in their house. And my aunt, uncle, and mother with my grandparents started sewing jeans. And then they started selling said jeans. And then from that company, my grandmother started a company with my father called H&D Fashions. And we did textiles forever, 25 plus years until sadly the company closed. We had 2 factories in the Dominican Republic and 1 here in Miami. And that's really what sustained my like childhood. I grew up in clothing factories my entire life. You know, like it's a very interesting place to be in. It's like these weird, like gigantic shelves of just huge rolls of fabric, and then these gigantic tables of ladies cutting shirts and then going from one place to the next and then going all the way down this like conveyor belt to like the ones that would sew it, and then they would sew it and then they would print it and they would do the whole thing. And it's just like what I grew up with. So it was a small thing that in 2012, which I had no business doing because I had like zero money to actually make it like an actual thing. I was like, I just want to come up with some like cool designs that are lifestyle, food oriented, chef oriented, that aren't so chachi. And you see a lot of the chachi food stuff, like your radishes are wild. Like we don't do stuff like that. So, we're making like a hard comeback. Our my partners and I have decided to reinvigorate the brand and bring it back. Our logo lives on within our hospitality company and obviously through the merchandise line. And we just dropped our website within the last 3 weeks, and we have some great designs that some local guys helped me do. They're all, I think, super dope, and it ranges everything from like work shirts. When I say work shirts, it's actually the shirts that my staff wears to work, to cooler designs and nicer fabrics and nicer shirts that you can wear out and kind of like hang out in for the day. But Pig Ink has always been like a passion project for me. It's always been something that's never been for money or whatever. It's more of just like the story, and I think it's cool, and I think it's fun, and there's a way to help people within the process too. And I think that, what we're doing with DADE and what we've done with other people in the past, and probably what we'll continue to do in the future with donating to charities and overall, I think it's a cool thing.
Good shit. So whenpigsflymia.com, that's where you get all of that stuff. Do you have like a personal favorite item? If you could only have one.
I honestly
you only have one for yourself.
I mean, I think it's because I'm super biased because I love the original Ariete shirt. So the new shirt that we're dropping for, DADE is probably my favorite one that I wear the most. So I think that that's super dope. The Reservoir Pigs one is like very cool too. I'm a big fan of the hats, like the beanie I'm wearing right now. I like very simple designs. So I don't like it's never going to be a lot of things happening. It's usually pretty simple, but yeah, I would say those are my favorite things. The dad hats are my favorite. Like the khaki dad hat is is super dope.
Yeah. The jersey has been in a rap video.
Yeah, I mean the jersey is very cool. The Ariete jersey, the Chug's varsity jacket is also very dope. There's really not many of those, but they will be going to reprint soon. So, I mean it's really like, I feel terrible saying this, but it's like pretty much everything I wear every day. So I like them all.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. whenpigsflymia.com. That's it.
Go buy some shit.
Go give Mike all your money.
Yeah, all of it.
Very good.
Yep.
So what else is on your mind, Mike?
Oh man, what else is on my mind?
I would say that I don't have like a ton on my mind. It's this interesting part of the year right now that it's like everyone's coming out with the lists.
Right.
Lists. It's the list part of the year.
Lists.
End of the year list.
Should we make lists?
We can.
Yeah.
I'm interested what our list would look like.
Top 10 Mexican beer brands revived in the United States.
Monopolio. Yeah, Monopolio for sure. The best.
Only the best.
Only the best. It's that list part of the year, and I think that for the first time in my entire career, I haven't paid much or if any attention to any of them.
Yeah.
Like at all. I my cooks talk a lot about them as like, oh, like if we were blah, 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 and, we would be this. And I'm just like,
What's an example of if we were in blah blah blah, we would be this?
I don't.
Like, is the blah 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 a city? Is it a publication?
No, it's publications usually. Okay. It's just I don't help the subject. As if you do listen to Potnical Podcast, you would know why I don't help the subject of making people like us anymore.
I'll clarify. You have railed against lists and certain media things, and from a PR perspective, you don't. To the extent that there is such a cause, I know you don't care.
Sure.
But if there were someone who cared, they would see you as getting in the way of your appearance on those some
Yeah. I mean, I think
you still get on the lists.
Yeah. We were on 2 lists. We're on a couple lists. I got some emails.
Yeah.
Congrats. Cool. It's nice.
Yeah. And it is nice. I mean, I guess it depends on the list and whether you respect how... Every list is different. You might respect one more than another, but...
Yeah, I think, like, the one list that I saw... No, 2 lists that I saw, it was more like the company we were with. I was like, I love all those people, and I was like, it's cool to be with them on a list.
Right. Nice.
Best new restaurants, Chug's was on 2 lists.
Infatuation was one of them, right?
Yeah. I think Infatuation does nice work.
Shout
I really
out to
do.
Ryan, past
guest, he was on this. I forgot.
Ryan Pfefferoni.
The Pfefferoni, yeah, he was on this thing. I think that they do solid work. I think that they speak their mind, which is nice. I think that they've definitely tamed their talk because of COVID. And I think that that's cool. I get it.
I don't agree with it personally.
With my take?
No. With well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by your take. What I'm saying with taming talk because of COVID.
Sure, I'm sure you don't agree with it. But I do think that that's what they've done in a lot of aspects. And I get it. But equally so, I think that they do great work, and I think that they have crushed certain people when they really, really deserved it. Los Chinos, they crushed them super hard. Yeah.
Why do you think they deserved it? I don't disagree with you necessarily. I never ate there, so I can't.
No, I mean, if shit was bad, it was bad. I think they did a lot of like stereotypical profiling in their space, which they called out a lot.
So the reason I asked, like, why do you think they deserved it? I saw what do they call it? The ride along.
Yeah.
They do it in Infatuation, at least in Miami. I don't know whether they do this in other markets.
I have no idea.
They do a ride along thing where it's like a somewhat real time Instagram stories thing, and they'll walk you through their whole meal, and we eat this, and this is how this was, and look at this, and look at that. And watching it, it's not that I thought, oh, this is bullshit, or oh, this is it, but because I knew that they were leading with an acknowledgement of the Los Chinos thing, and then the transition to Chi, and some of the like ethnic references or whatever in this restaurant, which for those who don't know, Chi began as a restaurant called Los Chinos, and they have like a lot of very kitschy, some might say like insensitive decor, very stereotypical Chinese whatever. But because the ride along starts with a mention of that, it makes me think like, oh, are you just like, I don't know if ribs were in there, but like, oh, are you eating this rib and making yourself less willing to say the rib was good because you don't want to acknowledge something they did was good since you already don't like. And it makes me question the assessment of the food.
Sure.
Is my point.
Because they had...
maybe the food sucks. It might suck. I didn't eat it.
Because they had an emotional thing.
Right. Or because you don't want to be seen as the publication that gave props on the food to the restaurant that you're supposed to hate.
I would think, in my assumption, my observation, I think that they may have gone in with something, but I also think that from what I saw from the food, that they had all the right to say what they said.
It didn't look great.
No.
Yeah.
And then, like the dragon show in the middle. I've seen so many of those.
So my thing is not, did the food deserve to get hated on? It was, if that food had been at any other place, would they have been as harsh?
Yeah, but a lot of other places don't open saying that they're going to be X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of like regular, everyday kind of like dumpling places that are opening, maybe not dumplings, but whatever, sushi places or whatever that open and aren't very good. They're just opening a restaurant. That's why Miami has 9 zillion restaurants and not 9 zillion that are good.
Yeah.
So, I think that their observation on that restaurant, and it wasn't just that one, it was a couple other ones, Poppy Steak with the golden box with the $1,000 tomahawk steak or whatever the fuck that shit is.
Yeah.
It's, it's crazy to me that I watched that thing
but the Poppy Steak, by the way, I asked myself, you're talking about the infatuation ride along?
Yeah.
I asked myself the same thing because I know where Ryan stands, at least I think I know, on the Grutman-esque places. And I wonder
where does he stand?
No, I think that the two of you have similar outlooks on that, where it's like he doesn't strike me as the sort of person who falls for that like shiny box shit. And I'm annoyed by it too.
Sure.
And maybe if I were doing that ride along, I would do the same thing. But it makes me wonder, like, what if that steak was really fucking good, but you don't want to give props to all the, which I would feel weird saying any. If I went and I had to do a write-up, I would feel weird saying anything there was good because it's just so fucking obnoxious.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's say the steak is okay. Let's say it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
And let's say you pay $1,000 for it.
No steak is worth $1,000.
Okay. So you answered the question. I think in essence, yeah, he's making a big deal of like the golden box and the smoke and the whatever. But if you're paying $300 for a steak, $500 for a steak,
right,
and the steak is not good. I don't really I'm not a red meat eater, but no steak is worth $1,000.
No. But I'm talking about other items. I mean, the $1,000.
I was at one of our favorite cigar bars.
Galliano Cigar Room.
Yeah, that one. But so I'm sitting there. I'm at the bar. The bartender already knows, like what I drink. She's making me my drink. She's super nice. I'm watching the game, and I'm listening to these two guys behind me. And one of them is he's a restaurant guy, and I feel like I had met him before, and I don't remember when or why. But I didn't want to engage in conversation, so I'm just listening. And one guy's like, "You know what? Let me tell you. I was at this place. I paid $400 for chicken wings." And he's like,
"You said $400 for chicken wings?"
$400. And he was like, "You paid $400 for chicken wings?" That's what he sounded like. And I'm like, "Let me tell you, these chicken wings, they take these chicken wings, they dip them in gold."
Like it's good or like it's ridiculous?
No, like actual gold.
No. He's saying this like praising it, or
yeah,
like how stupid is this?
No. But let me continue. So he's like, they dip these chicken wings in gold, and he's like, they dip them in gold. He's like, yeah, they dip them in gold, dog. They dip my chicken wings in gold. The chicken wings came out, they were gold. And he was like, well, how are the chicken wings? He was like, they were all right, but you know what? I can say I ate gold chicken wings. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, just everything in my brain is combusting. Like, there's things like people are running around in my brain like, oh, no, stop. Don't say anything. There's a bunch of bullshit. Don't say anything. You're off right now. You're not supposed to be working. And I'm thinking in my brain like, who the fuck cares about chicken wings that are fucking gold? Who cares? Why does it matter? It's dumb. You just paid $400 for chicken wings that were just chicken wings because they were gold.
Did you ever see, I think it's GQ? Either GQ or Esquire had a video series with 2 Chainz called Most Expensive as Shit.
Okay.
And it's really good. And actually, I came away from it with like a new, unexpected respect for 2 Chainz.
Okay.
The whole premise of it is that he goes and tries some absurdly expensive thing in a given category, like maybe gold chicken wings. I did see an episode where he eats gold-covered popcorn.
Okay.
But what I love about it is that, like, 2 Chainz, who you would not expect to approach it this way, will very often, like, to these people's faces be like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah,
like,
love that.
This
2
is
Chainz.
crazy.
Thank you, 2 Chainz.
This is absurd. Like, I would never do this. But he'll also be like, it's cool that because I'm doing this thing, I get to eat some gold popcorn.
Yeah.
But I will never buy a bucket of gold popcorn.
I mean, do you poop gold?
All good questions. There's so many questions.
Like, I wish we could ask 2 Chainz, like, did you poop gold?
I mean, listen, how about this?
Okay.
I know the price of gold is skyrocketing, especially with all this inflation that's going on.
I know, I just got new golds.
I think at some point, I want you to figure out what item on the Ariete menu we're going to put gold leaf on.
We have gold leaf on an item right now.
Do you?
Yeah, caramel corn. Yeah.
Gold caramel corn.
It's a caramel corn dessert that has a gold leaf on top.
A single gold leaf.
Yes.
But
It's
I
not crusted in gold leaf.
I think that
I would lose my mind. Devin knows that I would lose my mind.
when we get to a certain point, we should decide on an item to like absolutely absurdly cover in gold.
I mean, what would that, like an egg roll?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the chef.
But
I'm just the producer putting gold on shit.
I don't crust shit in gold. Like, it's just ridiculous and dumb.
Ariete doesn't. Panko Podcast does.
Yeah, that's true. We could have a gold event. We could crust some of Josh's meats in gold.
Oh, gold Josh meat, huh?
Yeah, gold Josh.
Isn't his meat is in that Bobby Steak box too?
Is it?
I think it's in there. I mean,
What?
listen, it's got nothing to do with Josh. Josh sells them the meat. They do what they want to do with it.
Yeah,
I love
it's-
Josh.
Yeah, it's
And the steak is the steak. He's not setting prices at Bobby Steak.
Yeah, no.
But I will
get it.
say to anybody, I mean, whatever. I don't want to get Josh into problems. But
Well, say what you're gonna say.
I was going to say, I mean, Josh's prices are super reasonable. And if you have access to Josh, go by his shop and buy his fucking steak and
Yeah, I
sear it
know. I
yourself
bought
at
his stuff. We did it for the last fight night. Remember?
Yeah,
At
we
my
bought
house?
his stuff. Like, I actually bought it, and I'm going to buy it for this on Saturday. We're doing Fights in My. I don't know if you're coming, but
I won't be there.
yeah, well, you know, there will be some Josh meat involved, cooked in the barrel.
We're such sellouts. We're sponsored.
Listen,
by so
I got a
many
barrel
things.
I borrowed. I haven't been able to use the barrel. We got to figure out when you're going to use the barrel.
Yeah, I know. I'm still trying to break some impact windows too.
I got to pick up some impact windows to break the podcast for an ad.
Yeah.
What do you want to make in the barrel? The barrel, by the way, shout out to our sponsor, the barrel, who you already heard an ad for. We got to put the barrel in the trunk of your caddy, and then we got to cook something in it. What do you want to cook?
Oh man, I don't know. I gotta see the barrel so I know what to cook in it. I gotta see it.
It's a barrel-looking thing.
No, it's not that easy.
No, okay, but fine. But we got to figure it out. We got to do this.
Yeah, maybe I'll cook some of Josh's meat in there.
I mean, if you want to do that. I don't know if you got other things you want to get off your chest. I know we started real late.
Yeah.
We could cut it off here. We've been at it probably an hour-ish.
Wow, that's super short for us.
I know, but, you know, we can give ourselves the luxury of, you know, taking a little break. An hour is, you know, that's what the people want. And we can do a little bonus content. I'll give you a rapid fire. How's that sound?
Oh, I kind of like where that's going.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's good.
So, are we cutting it off here?
Sure, I think it's fun.
Shameless plugs, Michael Beltran, shameless plugs. Or no, party recommendations. You got recommendations? Things you've eaten, seen, done, read, watched?
I feel like I have eaten something rather delicious lately.
I know I did.
Tell me what you ate.
I went to Barbacoa by Finca.
Oh yeah, the chicken.
That chicken was fucking good.
It looked delicious.
The chicken was good. This is Eileen Andrade's the place in Doral Yard in Doral, Florida.
Okay.
We have referenced Finca Town.
Finca
And
Town.
now, as she expands, the sun never sets on Finca Town.
Finca Barbacoa
The
Town.
Finca Empire knows no bounds.
Yeah.
So I had a half chicken. It has some carrots on it, and it had like a little what's the chef term for when you do a little like whoop, a little thing of sauce on the plate of some Alabama barbecue sauce. I had no idea what that meant.
I don't know what the means, but
Yeah,
okay.
like you put a little like instead of putting it on the food, you just put it on the you put a little on the plate. There's your
I
sauce.
just call it a little.
Yeah, so they put a little whistle of sauce.
Okay.
On the plate of some what apparently is an Alabama barbecue sauce, which I think is like a very mayonnaise heavy barbecue sauce. It was great. The chicken was great. The two guys I was with shared a big ass steak on some cilantro mashed potatoes, which I could be wrong. I didn't ask Eileen. She seemed like she was very in the weeds in that moment.
Oof, I know how that feels. Mad
I
love
think
to you,
it was
Eileen. I
like
feel you.
I think it was like the mashed potato equivalent of like cilantro rice, like a Peruvian cilantro rice. That's how I took it. But everything was delicious. The place is cool. I had never been to Doral Yard, so if you're in Doral, definitely check it out. If you have like a layover at the airport, it's not far from there, so you could do like a quick get out of the airport, go eat at Barbacoa by Finca, and go back on your next flight.
Cool.
So yeah, that's my recommendation, Barbacoa by Finca.
Well, my recommendation will be something that I have recommended before, but I went and I had different food and it was still delicious, which was I went to Luca by our good friend Giorgio Rapicavoli.
Still haven't eaten there. I feel terrible.
You should. And it was, I mean, I had the shrimp diavola pasta, and it was delicious. Super delicious, super good. It is what I needed at that moment, and it was like just perfect.
Cool.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I gotta make it a point to go there. I'm gonna probably take some of this new DADE ad money we're getting, and I'll let you know as it happens if you want to join for any of it. But
Yeah.
I feel like we've had so many people on this podcast whose restaurants I have not had an opportunity to go to.
Right. I mean, I would say that, the biggest letdown of 2021 was in 2020, Nick sponsored a Christmas party for Pancom Podcast, and he has not done that this year. And when I say sponsored a party, was just me and him getting super fucked up at a bar midday.
Yeah.
And
Where do you want to go? Where should we go for our Christmas party?
I don't know. We went to a pretty ratchet, shitty bar for
You call that
2020.
ratchet?
Yeah.
I think I know. We might have different definitions of ratchet. I think I know what you mean, and I agree with what you mean.
Sure. We ran up
Which past guest's place would you want to go to for our Christmas party? I think
No,
we should.
but
I
we
think we should
can't-
keep the money in the family.
No, I know, but we can't, though. We need to go somewhere, like, actually ratchet.
None of our guests have ratchet places.
Just me. I'm not a guest, but, yeah. I
You
don't think
I mean,
so.
La Cocina can be a little ratchet.
That's true, it can. I'll actually be there for a toy drive on Sunday.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the Cadillac Kings of South Florida will be
God.
putting on a
Love it.
toy drive this
Love that.
Sunday from
Yeah.
11 to 5 at La Cocina and Stevens Deli.
Yeah. Oh, that. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna. I might have to cut something out here because I don't think a friend of mine sent me an email I asked for with information, but I will do a makeshift, like, super on the fly plug here. One of my best friends is Matt Kusher's. I think her title is marketing director.
Sure. Super fancy title.
Her name is Cristina Cernuda. Her Instagram, and there's a reason I'm throwing this out there. Her Instagram is Chris E. Cernuda. CRISECERNUDA. CRISECERNUDA. Every year, Chris, which apparently some people call her, I call her Christy. Christy, who is a wonderful person, and a bunch of her wonderful friends, including our friend Lynette Cairo.
Lynette.
Yeah, Christy and Lynette have been super tight for a long time.
Lynette kills me, man.
They do this thing where they adopt multiple families for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, we're doing... I told Lynette that we would sponsor some of that.
So my friend Christy is like in a little picadillo of people who do that. So go to Christy's Instagram and look for information there on how to contribute to their efforts. I can tell you...
I have a flyer. For the past 7 years, our tribe of women has been adopting local families and sponsoring their Christmas. Every dollar you contribute helps us spread holiday cheer. There's a Venmo scan thing. If you'd like to donate, scan QR code above or Venmo at Christmas KPX7.
Yeah, Christmas KPX7. Yep. And to give you an idea of some of what they're doing, I won't say because I'm not 100% sure. Because this is just like a group of friends who do this. And they kind of take cues from a reputable organization here. So I'm asking our listeners to just trust the two of us, that these people are trustworthy.
Trust us.
Trust
Look
us
at
like
me
you
in
do
the
for
eyes.
so many other things.
Look at me in the eyes.
But to give you an idea,
Deep
these
in
are,
my eyes.
Families in need in South
Trust
Florida. This group of people is hooking them up or looking for donations to help hook them up with. One family's looking for, they need a washer dryer, a bed for one of the members of the family. Another family's looking for stuff like diapers, baby wipes, and clothes and shoes. Another family, the goal is to get them some kitchen equipment and a bed for one of their kids. So, this is stuff that's, it's not, luxury items. This is, things that are will make the day-to-day lives of these families, measurably better. And this is a group of people, and I've known a lot of these girls since high school. Incredible people. Lynette's great. Christy's great. May is great. The whole little crew of elf people. All these elf people are super solid elf people, and I highly recommend Christmas KPX7 on, that was Venmo Christmas KPX7, or go to Instagram, follow, or DM Chris E. Cernuda, CrisEcernuda. I hope I spelled that right after all these whiskeys.
Maybe,
Possibly.
it sounded right to me.
Yeah. So, shameless plugs.
All the things.
You can follow Pancon Podcast at Pancon Podcast on all of the things.
Go to Chug's for dinner.
Now you got real plugs, huh?
Yeah, just now, yeah. Just go to Chug's for dinner. We're open.
Chugs for dinner, Pancon Podcast on all the things, PANCON Podcast. Also, Patreon, patreon.com/DADEMAG, DADEMAG. You can join the Abuela Mami tier for coffee every month. Apologies. I want to acknowledge here that I fucked up a little.
Woo!
I had a delay in getting people their coffee. So this month, people got shipments of like 3 months worth of coffee.
Wow.
I know, Cuban time around here, but everybody gets their coffee eventually.
It's more real that way.
Listen, this is the shit show. This is the train wreck you're supporting, and that's how we do things.
Warm beer.
So there you go, a little monopolio action, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? Get your ads in now because we're filling up fast.
Listen, you're not wrong. Ads at dademag.com.
Where the fuck are we?
We
It's
have
crazy.
Drew Estate is going to be in for half the year.
Oof.
Also, Aganorsa Leaf will be in for some portion of the year. We haven't yet settled on the final
Two
details
of my
there.
favorite cigars.
They really are great cigars.
They really are two of my favorite
Yeah,
cigars.
I can't wait to also get cigars from them, I hope.
Yeah.
It's not. I should have worked that into the contracts.
Should have.
I'm a complete fuck up.
Slipping and falling, and I can't
More
get up.
important than the money, really.
Wise words by DMX.
Yeah, so things are happening. The barrel's in, all Elite Impact Glass. Get in for ads.
Get in
at
there
Dade
before the
Mag.
barrel. The barrel's going to barrel you over.
That's right. And if you are listening after this beep, you will hear a rapid-fire series of questions for Michael Beltran.
But thank you guys for joining this shit
right.
show, and we can't wait to be back with more content of more things that people are paying for. Thank you so much.
That's what the podcast should be called. Content of things that people are paying for.
Woo!